So we kind of behave one way, and they kind of behave another way. And a lot of thought has been gone into this in the last 7 years to understand the politics, what we were getting into when we started. Because I don't plan to make this a career. I don't plan on being here forever. And I want to move on because it's not a world I want to live in. It's a difficult world. They take a lot of shots at you and they slander you, and it's not good. So let me say that they want that world like that. Does anybody know why? No, it's a real easy explanation. Because when the outside world and the professionals look in at this world, this Bigfoot arena, they don't want any part of it. And as long as they can continue to proliferate the idea that this thing is an ape, and it's an animal, and you better not come in and prove otherwise, because we'll do the same thing to you that we're doing to these other people here. Nobody else wants to step in and work. Academia doesn't want to come in. Other professionals don't want to come in. And when they do come in, they say, Dave, you shelter me. I'll do this anonymously, but I don't want my name in the hunt. And let me tell you that Dr. Melba Ketchum is one of a kind. She knew exactly what was going to happen. It's already happened to her. That's why she's not here. And it's a shame. But that other side of the fence wants to diminish this and make this an angry area where there will be attacks, demeaning, slander, etc. And they don't want professionals to come in because that will disrupt the status quo. It'll disrupt their world. And that's just the facts. Political agenda to hold on to that old paradigm. There absolutely is. And that the older status quo in the Bigfoot world, going back 50 years, believe this thing was an ape. And I'm going to go through this on a PowerPoint tomorrow, and I'm going to explain to you how we arrived where we did. And it's an absolute baffling experience how these people 50 years ago didn't see what I saw and my other researchers saw when we started this project. Because what I'm going to show you is from 1924 to 1928, evidence that this was a tribe of people. Not it was an ape, not that it was a gorilla, and people have chose to ignore the evidence all of these years. There's never been an ape hair or a gorilla hair found in North America in the wild. There's never been an ape bone or a gorilla bone found in the wild. Yet, that's all you're going to hear from, the status quo researcher from 40, 50 years ago. All their books have ape in the title. God knows why. And yet, there are giant bones, giant Indian bones that have been found that are human. And they come back human. So, it's a little bit about the background and how we ended up where we were. And am I comfortable? And I'm not going to talk about the DNA results, but I'll just say that everything in my books, everything that we've continued to do research in, to me, I'm not privy to all of the indicia of the DNA, but I am confident that I am on, and we are on the right track. There's nothing to show otherwise. You talk to every Native American group across North America, and they say the same thing that Arla says. And I spent 2 years in Hoopa, a Native American reservation in Northern California. I can tell you that I got very, very close to the elders there. And they said, David, people are missing it. They don't understand. That when we have jump dances and we have spiritual dances, they actually do the same thing. And they come up and sit at the perimeter and watch. You may laugh at that, Dave, you may not believe it, but it's true. And then the way we collected our data, different than everybody else's data, is we didn't take a sighting report from anyone unless they signed an affidavit swearing to what they're saying is true under penalty of perjury. We got made fun of for that. And the reason we did that is because 99% of the sighting reports coming in are saying, well, we're seeing these pictures of an ape from these other people, and that's not what we saw. What did you see? We saw something much more human. And then when we had a forensic artist sit down and do it, darn if they didn't come back looking human. So there's two ends of the spectrum. I think we're on solid ground. Nothing is there to deter me otherwise. The DNA from the past, all the hair in the past shows human. That's right.
I've got one more thing to say about that ape thing. they are an ape, they're an ape in the same way that we are apes. We are technically apes. Hairless apes, I mean, as they categorize them, right? But if they are sapient and sentient and self-aware in the same way we are. Language itself implies that, requires that, really. And I told Dave earlier about a Texas researcher. He was here last time we were here. John Morley, a biologist out of Texas, who's doing a paper he's been working on for several years now, speaking against this very popular Gigantopithecus theory. That Bigfoot is really just a Gigantopithecus that's somehow survived, right? And which would put him perfectly in the ape category, a big dumb animal. That's not what any of us are seeing out there. Any of you that have had real phenomena occur to you out there, you guys know this is not a big dumb animal. You take one step into his home, into his territory, he's way smarter than we are. Right? But I talked to John Morley here, and he knew that I was going up to speak at a venue where Jeff Meldrum was speaking at. And he says, and Meldrum's one of the guys that's really big on the giant ape theory, Gigantopithecus. He said, will you do me a favor and ask Jeff one question? I said, sure. He says, just ask him, is there any evidence whatsoever that Gigantopithecus was bipedal? And me and Jeff got together, we were talking about something. He says, I've got a researcher in Texas, a biologist, who wants me to ask you something. And so I asked him, is there any evidence whatsoever about Gigantopithecus walking on 2 feet? He says, none. None whatsoever. That to me would be the foundational thing for all of this.